Been a whole year since I sent that email, and I've learned a lot in those last 12 months. At the time I sent that email, I really wasn't ready. Even though I had read all the books, listened to all the podcasts.
Explore and to do the natural things that humans do, which is get their bloody noses into everything and need to understand how it works and why this doesn't work.
Watched all of the documentaries. I still didn't feel ready to press that button. I still wasn't really convinced that I could really do it, and I wasn't going to mess my kids up in the process.
Hello. No. You come to join. Everyone you meet in the home ed community has a completely different reason for being there, and it's so fascinating to find out all of the different reasons why these families aren't sending their kids to school. But it was surprising to me, because I had this preconception before I was part of that community, that in order to home educate your kids or homeschool or to just not send your kids to school, you had to have been brought up that way or been brought up homeschooled yourself, or that you were so anti-establishment that you would literally lie down in the middle of the motorway in protest against climate change or something like that. And needless to say, that's not really us. To say that I wasn't brought up to educate my kids in this way would actually be quite the understatement. Maybe one day I'll go into my story and what led us up to this decision. But when I was growing up, school was one of the biggest, most important things in my life. So to choose this alternative path was very much against the grain. When we sort of came up to this decision of like, do we do home education? It was like we were looking down an unknown road that was just completely dark, with no light at the end and no map of where we had to go or how we had to navigate. And when at the other end of that road and that journey is something that is going to impact your kids' future and their whole life, it just makes it even more daunting and even more scary. The decision that we choose right now, it's going to shape their whole life. So it feels like a very, very, very big decision. But at the same time, it's funny how it doesn't feel such a big decision when you flip it around, like to send them to school in September when they turn 4 or 5 isn't a big deal. It is a big deal, but it's not a big decision. It's not like, oh my God, do we do this? Is it going to mess them up? What are they going to, is they not going to like it? That's just, none of those things come into your head. Whereas when you're choosing to not send them, those are all the things that circle in your head because it's such an alternative route and an unknown thing to do. At the very beginning, I just took advice from anywhere and everywhere, anywhere that I could find it. And one of the main things that kept coming up was, don't rush, take your time, make sure that you do a period of deschooling, and decondition yourself from all these beliefs and ideas that you have around education, and don't rush it. But of course, what did we do? Boys, come here.
Of course, we panicked and bought some workbooks.
Is it that? What do you think of this? Not good.
As you can tell, it didn't really go down very well. We worried that they were spending too much time on their screens and spending way too much time playing video games.
Boys, can you switch this off now, please? Boys, can you switch this off, please?
We went to all the groups, even if they didn't really want to go.
A new group today where we're going to do like campfire stuff and woodworking. You are going swimming after this. We're going to go swimming after we go to this new group. You're going to have a camp. What?
We wanted to go swimming.
We are going swimming. But we're going to have a campfire.
Yes.
That'll be fun, won't it? And ultimately, looking back, I can see that we were just rushing everything. Even though we thought we weren't, we just couldn't help ourselves, because I think the worry of not getting it right and of messing them up just takes over. It's so easy to fall into the trap of putting pressure on yourself to get everything in order and to get a structure in place and to feel like you have everything under control. But in reality, you go into this thinking that you're going to be home educating for a really long time. Well, at least we have come into this hoping that this is going to be it. We're going to be home educating for a really long time. So in the grand scheme of things, if we take a year to get into a rhythm and find out what works, find out what doesn't, but gently and gradually, what is that year? And it's really not that long. If they take a year off, it's really not going to mess them up.
It took us pretty much a full year to feel like we even had any sort of routine. And even now, we don't really. There's a few clubs and meetups that we go to regularly, but to be honest, the rest of our days are just filled with playing and living life. Some days look like museums, and other days look like Nerf wars in the garden. So that's lesson 1 of 12 after 12 months of home educating. Don't rush. Take time to decompress. Have fun together. Don't worry about the formal learning. Things will naturally unfold when kids are given the time and space to explore their interests. Groups, trips, opportunities will come your way when it's the right time. Just trust the process.
Don't shoot me!